region. Let's take you to the Western region. There is an issue there that we need to talk about, which has to do with 12 individuals being destroyed as a result of destroying a railway line along the Achimbo-Zaria stretch of the Western Railway corridor. You know, we've been pushing the agenda that the railway sector should be developed, and now that we are having the issue of Galamsey, it's destroying a railway line in that region. Well, it's a video that went viral, but our correspondent in that region, the Western region, Kwesi Eje Enim, has filed an extensive report on this. Let's air the report after we have conversations on it.
As we speak, the place has actually been gathered with water. As you can see, this is how dangerously it has become for anything heavy to actually go onto this. And this is what has gotten the attention of the Western Regional Minister, who today is here to see for him. A resident, Ken Amponsa, briefing the Regional Minister, alluded to the fact that the chief of the town did everything to stop the activities of illegal small-scale miners around the railway, but they refused.
Nana year announcement to pure rain line who be ala on the machine. But no current woman day, Brantian on us yet. Honey, mammy, sure, and afraid and why him fear. They are my youth, no, Piana Sonte. Yeah, on your den, or ye machine, and fire them, who feel free her. The made you be in day, or ye no fair you.
This is one of the major bridges actually constructed over here to carry this very railway line. But a look at it shows how the water beneath it is very much polluted. And it's all because of this very illegal small-scale mining that is actually happening just around it. And a look around the area shows pockets of encroachment on the rail line, not just at the Achim community, but all the way through Bonsare community. You could see pockets or portions of the railway very much encroached and impacted by the activities of Galamsey. The Western Central Operational Commander in charge of the Takwa in Soyem area and the northern part of this Western region, who just came here to actually join the regional minister in his inspection, is claiming that they have actually arrested 12 persons on the 30th of last month. And since that time, they have not been coming. And they are very much committed to prosecuting these 12 persons and make sure they do regular monitoring of the place.
At approximately 1,000 hours. But actually, that was the day we came to effect the arrest, and 12 people were being arrested. In fact, last week court wasn't in session, so tomorrow they will be, going to court.
The Western Regional Minister, Joseph Nelson, who has been briefed about what is going on here, says he is happy that some 12 persons have been arrested, but he is saying that he'll be much very convinced about the fight against illegal mining in the area when these 12 persons actually go through the needed prosecution that they have to actually go through, and the security apparatus over here actually ensure regular monitoring of the area.
Well, this is very concerning, distressful, and you see this, it's so very bad. When we came, we saw some portions of the track, and we thought that we had seen the worst of it, but and this is certainly a very, very worst form of what we've seen today. And there's a lot to be done. This is a long track from Takwa all the way to Takrade. Question is, this is what we have seen today. What is happening on the other side? You and I, are unaware. It could be worse. I'm following the case till its logical conclusion, and that for me is what we must all, do, including yourselves, the media. You must follow this case, to the point where these ones, are put behind bars for years. And then, like I did say earlier, we also make the news public that those who are engaged in these activities will face the full rigors of the law. As we have it, when prosecutions happen and the police are successful, I don't think that the public gets to know about it. So this time, I think that we must make some more effort to let the public know that we arrested these people here or in that town engaged in these illegal activities. And we have secured prosecution. We have been successful at putting them behind bars for years. But there are elders here who see, and in fact, I want to believe that those who do these things live in this town. They live here. They've rented houses here. They live here. That is where they get up every morning and come. They are in the communities. And so to think that this has been going on for weeks, and we couldn't get any public-spirited person, no leader here to show up to say that, look, this thing must stop. If anybody, any leader from this community had come here to really show concern, had come here to show leadership, I believe that this matter, would have ended as soon as the people showed up. But it's always the case that, this matter concerns the police, it concerns the MCE, the regional minister. The rest of us are not part. So we can comfortably sit here and watch them, destroy the environment and destroy a national asset like the railway lines that we have here.
The Member of Parliament of the Takwa Insoyem area, Salifu Taylor, who can be seen from behind me and also inspecting, just as the regional minister, is saying that he was actually called in upon seeing the footages all over the place and has been surprised. But his expectation is that the security over here would do their work as expected of them.
And it's a shock to me to come to the site to see the way the area is devastated. Apparently, I saw the post on the social media as well, where they were tagging myself and my MC that we are actively involved in this illegal mining. I want to assure the public, the regional minister is here with me, he knows who I am. We will be the last person to involve in illegality.
A look at it shows a serious devastation of the rail lines, and over here on the portion of the Achim Western Railway Corridor, you could see, because of the Galamsey excavations beneath this very rail line, it's actually been overturned onto the waterlogged area being created by these Galamseyers. According to a railway official who says he's in charge of patrolling the line, the very track they use in patrolling the line has actually broken down, hence their inability to actually do a continuous patrolling of the line.
I've been coming here for some time, and this was started for since so many times. We made an arrestment for about 2 times, and then they stopped. And for then, I didn't come here again. All of a sudden, I heard that it has come to this stage. Their responsibility, we have to get mobility. We use railway, rail car, and the rail car is now spoiled. It's now at Takwa. So we don't have any ways and means to come to lie, even apart from Takwa to this thing, Benso. We don't have any means to travel more than 4 miles. That is why.
Meanwhile, a resident of the community claims these railway workers have been coming to the community to collect money from the illegal operators.
What baby say 6,000 cedis. Somewhere last week, 6,000 cedis. Ya be ya wo ye ya wo be wo nya hwe wona no wati wonye adwuma no na ade nti wa ba yempe kakra mo no fa ko je 6,000 cedis wo mi same because boys no wo ye adwuma no obi enya baby nya adwuma wona wo come the one no am boys we tutu ade na because awu abeka che ade o ma wo ka sema wo se nananom awu re nwe sini aye kwan na eti meka de kwan no wo fa ntwe biu nti nananom wo ma ye den biu.
For now, the Western Regional Minister has actually come to see the devastation on this very rail line. And he says he's going to actually act on despite being disappointed. But the call on the Ghana Railway Company, and for that matter, government, is also try to reactivate the Western Railway corridor such that it will scare off the activities of illegal small-scale miners from encroaching on this very rail line. For Channel One TV News, I'm Akwesi Jenim, Achim in the Takwa Nsoi municipality.
So this is a very big problem. It's a very big issue. Just that the affected portion of the line was left vulnerable due to the suspension of the manganese haulage from Insuta to Takrady Harbour over a year. And then in the absence of activity, the railway line operations, the Galamsey, encroached on the area in search of gold. So they are destroying everything, further worsening the already dilapidated state of the rail line. But I don't. If Akwesi is on the line, we will join him quickly so that he give us update on what is happening in the area. Akwesi, good morning.
Yeah, good morning.
I want to play the devil's advocate. Isn't this mere erosion that has led to this?
No, this is not erosion. This is the handiworks of illegal small-scale miners who have become so desperate. Wherever there is gold, they will go for it despite the consequences. And this is what we are seeing in the destruction of our rail line, which used to play a very critical role in our economic strive. Helping to haul our bauxite for export. And today, even if the railway says they want to do it today, it will be difficult for them to do that because the very routes on which they will haul this manganese curtailed.
And again, for when you went to the community, what did they really tell you? For how long have these galamseyers or illegal miners been mining in this area? For that reason, maybe authorities didn't really pay attention to it, and it's led to this level of devastation.
Well, Galamsey in the Takwa Nsoi area goes back several decades, and it's been ongoing despite the various attempts to stop the activities of Galamsey in the country. And it's a widespread, illegal activity operation going on within the vicinity. And from the look of things, what we saw is just, a section of the rail line that has actually been, obstructed by these activities. We got information that if we had continued further the railway, we would have seen a lot of it. In fact, this is just the Achim area getting to the Bonsare portion of the stretch, and it's so bad. And speaking to the community, in fact, one of the guys that we actually interviewed, you could see that he's actually one of the people who did it because he claimed the railway officials who have the responsibility of patrolling the area came to even lie to them that the ongoing development of the standard gauge will not pass through the town, and so they can go ahead and then do their illegal activities. And so they had the motivation to even destroy the existing one, which passes through the fringes of the town. In fact, these days you go to mining areas, almost everybody in the community is kind of complicit, and it's difficult to even tell whether the one you are speaking to is against it or not. Almost everybody within such areas is connected to this, illegality, and it makes it very difficult. It is so difficult that, this thing was happening not that far from the community, and we never had anybody actually complaining to the municipal chief executive, and it's, that is for me the very surprising bit. The community has an assemblyman who must deal with happenings within the community. The assemblyman, I think, is answerable in this case. according to some of the people that spoke to us, the chief tried to stop the youth. We sent out messages to them, even called them to his palace to get them to stop. But the question is, if you, the chief, you are unable to do that, you have to take steps to actually go to the district assembly, the municipal assembly, to inform them. So it looks very funny. I mean, it looks like the communities within these mining areas are all complicit, and it makes the fight very difficult because they are the recipient, the immediate recipient of whatever problems this devastation or this pollution will bring to the country, and they don't seem to care. All they care about is the monies that they make out of it, and that makes it very difficult for any work to serious fight to be done. And that is where we had a regional minister, pouring out his heart, very much disappointed and very much pissed off, in a sense that he didn't understand why a whole community would sit down for such a thing to happen. And just as journalists, the security agencies also work with information. And so when some of these things doesn't get to them, it takes time before they react to that. And it's very difficult. It's very difficult.
Wow.
Right. But looking at the, destruction of the rail line, I mean, from what we are seeing and what we've just seen, how long did it take for it to get to this point?
Well, when I interviewed the track inspector who is supposed to be in charge of the area, he says it's been going on for a very long time. And at a point, he said that when they make arrest, when they report and the police come to make arrest, those people are released. And he made an allegation that, they pay their way for such people to be released. And so I think at a point, they also got fed up, worrying themselves, reporting these people, because they will definitely be released to come back to continue their activities. So the security agencies also there, within the catchment, within Takwa and Swahili municipality, also have answers to, questions to answer. They claim they've actually arrested 12 people, that they were taking them to court today. We never had a chance of seeing this. And the regional minister again was very disappointed that we are not even aware that such an arrest has been made. And there is a need for such things to be made public to serve as deterrent to people who also want to do that. They claim 12 people have been arrested, and today we'll be following up to see what comes out of the court proceedings.
Right. All right, so when we look at this town, it looks like it's in the suburbs. I want to ask, do they really understand the effect of Galamsey? Are they hearing the statistics of what is going on when it comes to the kind of, defects that people are having while trying to have babies, and the number of diseases that are, spiking up and everything? Do they hear that?
When they talk to them, they tell you, all die be die. Before they die, they know they will die one day, but before they die, they have to eat. And so it's a matter of survival. It's a matter of they also getting themselves something to keep going, because they claim they don't have jobs, and this is the only thing available for them to survive. And so they seem to be very much aware of all what is being said about the detrimental effect of illegal small-scale mining. But at this stage, they don't seem to be bothered about all what is being said, and let's focus on the money that they make out of it.
Akwesi, when you say you've really done well standing in the range to do this report, let's now focus on the rail line itself. Tell us about this rail line, the essence of this rail line, what it was meant for, and now that it's in this state. Let's go back a bit on the history of the rail line.
Well, this very line happens to be part of the Western Railway Corridor, which is the foremost rail line to be constructed in Ghana. The first rail line was actually constructed from Takoradi through to Takwa, all because of the manganese, before it was continued to Kumasi, and then later the Accra one also being done. And if you look at the architecture of the Ghana Railway Company, as you speak, the headquarters of the Ghana Railway Company sits in Takoradi, close to Takoradi Harbour, and it is for a reason. The railway sector only thrives on haulage. I mean, their major source of revenue comes from the haulage lines. That is, this very line is used to haul it used to be used for bauxite, haulage, and then manganese. But since early 2000, we because of the deterioration of the line and then the collapse, the breakdown of most of the trucks, the haulage was actually left in the hands of trucks. And so since the early 2000s, we've not been able to haul bauxite from Awaso, which also used to go through the same line all the way to Takoradi. And then, the last time we had the chance of hauling manganese through this same line from Insuta near Takwa was the last quarter of 2024. And since then, we've not actually seen any haulage on this line. This line is the heart and soul of the Ghana Railways Company. I know Ghanaians are very much happy.
Akwesi, hold on. You said 2024. That was last year.
Yeah, last year.
So
the last quarter.
So this railway line has had sort of operation on it just last year.
Yeah, just last year. The last haulage happened on the 16th of December 2024. Wow. 16th of December 2024. This is after even the election. And since then, we've not seen any. So it is a very crucial line. And I was making a point about how important this Western Railway Corridor is. The railway sector thrives on haulage transportation to make bulk of its money. And then the profit they make out of that is what they use to subsidize passenger services, because passenger services, they usually subsidize it.
Okay, Akwesi, just don't lose your thought there. Just hold on there. We have the Chief Executive Officer for the Ghana Railway Development Authority, Dr. Frederick Apol, who is joining us for us to have more conversation of what is happening in that area. That's the Bonray Insuta Railway line. Hello, sir. Good morning.
Good morning. How are you doing?
I'm good, and I trust you're also doing well.
Yes, I'm doing well.
With what we are talking about in the Western region, has it come to your attention?
Of course, yes. It came to our attention just about last week. We went there. We have a team that always monitors the line as part of the narrow gauge. So we are talking about the narrow gauge railway line. The current epicenter of what we are discussing directly lies along the narrow gauge. The narrow gauge was built in 1893. Of course, it has been rehabilitated along the years, but it was first built in 1893. And of course, the damage is between Bonsaria and Achim. So Bonsaria is about 54 kilometers from Insuta and about 6 kilometers. So it's 54 kilometers from Takoradi and 6 kilometers from Insuta. The issue here is that we have a routine patrol, people that patrol the line on a daily basis. But the point here is that this is a 68 kilometers railway line. So it stretches over a long distance. And what these Galamseyers do normally is that they look at the routine patrol of the police officers and the railway monitoring officers to know when they are coming, and they will be able to more or less, tactically come in when we are not available. We've tried to do whatever we can within the resource constraints that the authority finds ourselves in currently. But the issue of this Galamsey is a national security issue. It's not just a railway issue. Railway we happen to have an infrastructure which has been affected. But if you look at it, around the expressway kilometer 32 area, what you have is that you have got the Galamsey activities are being conducted about nearly 10 to 12 kilometers away. But they are using the champagne, directing that directly to our formation. So that is something that we have to worry about. As I sit here, we are also building the standard gauge railway line. The standard gauge railway line from Angu to Manso to Benso. We have seen that it has not been tempered with at the moment, so it's a good thing.
So now that you are constructing a standard gauge railway line, does it mean that it renders this one sort of useless? That wouldn't be used again? Is that it?
Oh, the narrow gauge has not been used for a very long time. So most of it, if you look at it, from Kojokrom all the way to Manso, some of it has been submerged into the Galamsey activity. So now we are at kilometer 32. So we are going to complete the standard gauge to express to kilometer 48. We are only 13 kilometers from Instituta. We are only 13 kilometers from Instituta. What your listeners need to understand, we have got two lines. We've got the old colonial line that we are talking about. This is what has been, which is subject to what we call the discussion today. And we have the new standard railway gauge, railway line, which is being built. And like I said, we are at Espresso, and we are only 13.1 kilometers from Instituta. You know, when we came into government, this work was suspended 2nd of December 2024. And we had to, through the effort and leadership of my minister, Honorable Bukari, we had several meetings with the contractor for them to resume site on 6th of August. So I don't see TS taking part in it. The Galamseyers are destroying almost everything in their path. So we need to look at it as a joint effort rather than singularly looking at that as a railway problem. It is not a railway just problem. You know, water bodies have been destroyed along the route. Cocoas have been cut away, and they are now mining through the cocoa farms and other things. And we happen to be a casualty as part of the activity. So, like I've mentioned, a coordinated effort to NATMOS is the best way to go. And recently, as of last week, Saturday, I reported the incident to a Takwade, Western Region Police Division Commander. They can deploy. But then again, you have people that are tactically studying. When you are coming, they are heavily armed. And whenever we go, they run away. Most of the time, they run away. I've been there nearly 5 times since my appointment in March. They run away, and they will come back again in the night and continue doing what they are doing. So we need just not what we call it, the deployment of security. We also need some sort of what we call it community engagement, whereby we, the people of the community, will also contribute. If you look at what happened on the Tema to Pakistan railway line, we had incident of theft. We conducted community sensitization program with the community all the way from Adome through Pando to Doyom, all the way to Ashamai. And what we realized was that the community were supporting us. And in most cases, they were doing citizen arrest of people who were stealing railway metals and stuff like that. And now we've managed to address the issue. I wouldn't say 100%, but at least the rate of theft has gone down considerably. Similarly, what I'm just saying is that whilst we can all point a finger to government, I think which is the right thing to do, and I think NATMOS is going to do the right thing, we need, as patriotic citizens as well, take the ownership of the assets into our own care. And if we see something, we need to just speak out and sort it out in a way that we are, before it gets to the central government, we the community people or the community that within the Western region can protect this asset. So yes, we are doing a lot, but it's not visible. And I wouldn't say it's that, but because of if you look at the nature of the whole line that we are looking at, that 8 kilometers, we cannot be everywhere at all the time. And that is the situation that we are facing ourselves in at the moment.
Doc, you made mention of something, that the new one, and this is the ancient one. Does it mean that the ancient one that we are now talking about with the Achim Bonsaria stretch wouldn't be used again? We want to get that clarification on that.
At the moment, the cost of rehabilitating the Achim Bonsaria line, at the moment, if you look at what they've done, some of the, rails are hanging, if you look at it. So we have to do what we call land reclamation. The cost of the land reclamation alone, let me give you a perspective, will be about 40% of the total cost of construction. So if you are going to spend that sort of money, and I think let me talk about the figures so people have a clarity as to how much it costs per kilometer. It costs us in the Western region about $9.2 million per kilometer. $9.2 million per kilometer. And out of that, the land reclamation cost as a result of Galamsey is about 20%, 30%.
Right.
So what it means is that in the near future, we are not going to construct for $9.2 million again. We are looking about $13.3 million per kilometer if we want to keep the same alignment. If we want to change the alignment of the railway, that is a whole feasibility study of it all. You have to conduct a feasibility study. You have to conduct geotech. You have to conduct hydraulics to be able to ascertain whether the line can pass through there. And that also comes at a cost of money. So whatever that people are doing, we need to look at it in terms of cost of construction. Now, if we have a contractor on the line, we intend to use part of the existing narrow gauge in terms of the formation to construct a new line. Based on what has happened, we cannot use that anymore. So to answer your question, yes, we are almost 13.1 kilometers with the standard gauge railway line. We are looking at phasing out the narrow gauge line by 2027. That is the strategy. So we are going to phase the narrow gauge line out, and the standard gauge railway line will provide that. I heard one of your, I think someone was mentioning something about narrow gauge being used. Yes, the issue with the narrow gauge is that because it has been deteriorated to the point whereby it cannot really sustain what I call a proper movement of goods. So we have incidents of derailment. We have got about 24% of derailment on the line due to the fact that most of the lines have been submerged as a result of the Galamsey activities as well. And of course, poor maintenance. But you cannot really blame Galamsey for everything. So with the standard gauge railway line, it provides reliability and safety, and we'll be able to haul the manganese from Instituta to Takrady Port. So I am confident that, with the support of NAMOS, with the support of the Western Regional Divisional Police members, we should be able to protect the standard gauge infrastructure, and we are going to reach Instituta in the near term. And I'm hoping by 2027 we should be in Instituta, so we can start for standard gauge.
Doc, has this accusation come to your table yet that locals are saying that some of the railway workers have been collecting money from the Galamseyers to allow them do this, which has led to this particular problem?
Yes, it has been reported. I don't want to talk about it, but it has been reported to the national security. We've got accusations of...
Hello?
Hello, Doc.
Yeah, I'm here.
Yeah, we missed you on that, so you would want to talk about that.
Yes. I would say yes. We've got reports, and I've sent everything to the national security for further investigation, where workers of the Ghana Railway, this is allegedly, that workers of Ghana Railway Company Limited are behind this activity with the Galamseyers.
Right.
Once the report was sent to me, I sent it to my minister. We have forwarded to the national security.
Right.
It has been forwarded to national security for further investigation and possible arrest. Also, we have also made a formal complaint to the Divisional Police Commander of Takrady, who are assisting with the investigation and ongoing investigation. I don't want to talk too much about it because this was just done a couple of weeks ago. Yeah.
All right. So, Doc, before we let you go, I just want to ask, do you have the fear that this might actually affect the new railway line, that they would one day come to encroach that side too?
Mm-hmm.
They are already encroaching.
The new one?
Yeah, the new one. They are damming on the new one and encroaching. And I made mention of the figures. We are looking at $9.2 million. So if you go to somewhere around Amantin area, the new culvert that was done, the new infrastructure, they are damming the infrastructure and the drainage to wash their gold. They are using it as artificial champagne to wash their gold. So they are already doing it. And at the moment, I'm afraid to say that is where most of our teams, in terms of the railway monitoring team, are based. Because my focus is I'm protecting the standard gauge railway line, and of course, including the narrow gauge. But I am charged with resources. I don't have the resources to push along the entire the entire 68 kilometers. I can only focus on the standard gauge railway line. But yes,
I was about asking you that because we understand that even the vehicles that the track officers are using or the monitoring team is using, some of them are broken down. Has that one to come to attention?
We have, yes, that has come to our attention that we are looking at it. And we are looking at how to help them resolve it. Because at the moment, some of these things as well, most of the monitoring is also done by our colleagues in Ghana Railway Company Limited. And they are sister companies, and we need to also support them. So it's a joint effort. And most of these information that we are getting, I'm getting on a daily basis, comes from these workers who are able to call me to give me the daily briefing. And I'm going to Western Region in a couple of weeks, and next week to meet them as well to understand what the situation is on the ground as well. But we are doing a lot just to make sure we can address the issue. But like I mentioned, this requires a joint effort between the security agencies. We can do our best to protect the railway infrastructure, but most of the activities are conducted about 8 or 9 kilometers away from our infrastructure, and we are getting the brunt of it down there. So it is not just the railway infrastructure that focus has to be on. It has to be a broader strategic review of how we can solve the entirety of the Galamsey within the corridor where our infrastructure is passing.
Wow. So it tells us that we need a lot of resources to deal with this, and also we need to keep our eye on the new railway line that you are constructing, and also how to deal with the Galamseyers. But in the interim, what do you think that should be done to get these people off the railway lines, of the areas that at least we are constructing railway lines for the general public to use? What do you think that should be done immediately to ward them off these railway lines?
I think we need, let me speak a bit tactically. We need a deployment of, let's say, I wouldn't say military men with guns who will be able to protect the assets. Talking about, we went there as a deployment, monitoring. When they see us in our yellow vests, they run away to the bushes. They will stay there till about 6 p.m., 8 p.m. Once we are gone, they will be back at maybe 9 p.m. They will do their Galamsey all the way to 3 a.m., 4 a.m. When the day breaks, they go away again. So these guys are heavily armed. And they are also on a motorbike, and they are looking at all the exit points, entry and exit points, okay, in terms of the right of way on the infrastructure. So to answer your question, look, it requires a joint effort, and it cannot be just one spot check of the railway infrastructure. It must be a deployment of armed forces tactically and tactical surveillance to be able to detect who are mining during the night and how they can arrest all these people. Because at some point, you might, if care is not taken, you might ask people to, go all the way out and shoot to kill. But it is important to know that we must also, these are people that are living within the community. So we must use dialogue, engagement, and I'm thinking, while the deployment is necessary, we need community sensitization program with the community leaders, the chiefs, for us to be able to speak to these people to stop what they are doing. Because at the end of the day, most people see that as their livelihood. So when you go there and you are trying to, and I can tell you, when you go to the railway line, you see a child as young as 10, 8, 9 doing this thing.
Wow.
So, and sometimes, I get a bit, worried as to why a kid of 8 years old, 9 years old is doing in the pitch like that. So this is a national security issue. We need a joint effort, and like I said, it cannot just be a one-spot check. It must be a full deployment over a long period of time to warn people off completely. And we must also have an alternative means of finding work for these people. Because now, if you take them off the Galamsey, the next question is, what are they going to do? And what are we going to give to them as a state for them to earn a living? So it's not just getting them off. And what is the next step? That is what I do believe is Excellency the President was discussing last week. And the formation with NATMOS, together with the CSOs, will help us to come up with a collective approach to support everybody who is affected or affected by the Galamsey activities as well.
Dr. Frederick Apo is the Chief Executive Officer of the Ghana Railway Development Authority. Thank you so much for your time. He said a number of things that, well, it tells you how scary it is. We are just playing with the Galamsey issue. This is how scary it is. Today's railway. Tomorrow we don't know where it will be. But Akwesi J. Neem is still on the line. Join us via Zoom. Akwesi, your immediate reaction on what the CEO for the Ghana Railway Development Authority has been telling us.
Well, Philip, just some quick things. You know, from Kodokrom to Nsuta, where we have bauxite, for us to be able to bring the bauxite to Takoradi, we have to make sure that the standard gauge that he's talking about, we've been able to do that 60 kilometers. From my checks yesterday, we have been able to do just 22 kilometers out of the 60. That is from Kodokrom to Manso. That is, even that one, I'm told, is around 95%. It means the standard gauge track cannot move from Kodokrom to Manso that we have done 22 kilometers, which is around 95. So if he says that, I mean, we have a new line, and so that should tell you where we've reached. 22 out of 60 kilometers is what we are close to completion. Now, between Nsuta to what do you call it, Manso, we are looking at 28 kilometers. Out of the 28 kilometers, some portions, they've just done the ground. I mean, the preparation of the ground. They haven't laid the slabs and all the things that has to go on before a train can actually move on. And so, even with the 22 that we have done, we are nowhere close to completion. And then we have 28 more kilometers to cover. So it tells you that we have a long way to go if we are actually planning to use the standard gauge line that we are talking about. Now, whether we like it or not, the last haulage that we saw from Manso came through this very rail line that has been destroyed. So it tells you that this very rail line is our closest option if we want to actually haul any bauxite anytime soon. This 28 kilometers that has been done, 22 that has been done, which is even 95%, is taking us more than 8 years to get to just to do that 22 kilometers out of the 60 kilometers. So we should be asking ourselves, how long is it going to take us to actually do the 28 kilometers to reach Nsuta so that we can use the standard gauge line? And that would tell you how important or how disturbing this development that has happened with the narrow gauge, which is the old line, is. Again, I was making a point about how important it is for us to make sure that the Western Railway Corridor is reactivated very soon, because it is out of the bauxite and manganese haulage that we get, the railway makes a lot of money and able to make profits and use some to subsidize passenger line. Go and find out from the pricing mechanism or the charging mechanism that they use in taking the fare that they are taking in Accra to Mpagadan. Ask them whether they are not subsidizing the fare. Where are they getting the money to subsidize it? So if you do your own calculation, you can see that whatever that we are operating, the passenger service that we are operating, because we are not charging realistic fare, and when the parts start breaking down, where are we going to get the money to fix them? And the only source for that money will come from the haulage lines where the railway is able to charge realistic fare. So for me, if we really want to revamp the railway sector, the first option is for us to focus all our energies on revamping the Western Railway corridors so that we can haul the bauxite and manganese, make good money out of that, and use some to now think of running a passenger line, because passenger line is cost. And we have to look for money somewhere to actually subsidize. When the parts start breaking down, the train will be made to, just be packed. We'll pack it, and then that will be the end of it. And so what is happening now, the fact that because of this distraction, we can't haul bauxite, because this is the narrow gauge is the only option for us now. We are nowhere close to completing the standard gauge. Looking at the figures that we have, it means we are now going to have to haul 100% of manganese by the road. Recently, the government has taken loan to fix the Takwa to Takoradi road, looking very beautiful. Ditch haulage trucks are destroying the road already. And so that is another cost to the state. If we are going to have to haul all bauxite, all manganese by road for the next 2 years, that is if we are going by his 2027 targets of completing the standard gauge so that we can haul through the train, it means we are going to destroy the road that we've taken loan to fix. And that is the cost that Ghana should be thinking about with the destruction of this very rail line.
Wow, this is very in depth, and it tells you that we have a lot of issues to really address when it comes to the railway line and the road. Akwesi Eje Nima, Western Regional Bureau Chief. I want to say a very big thank you to you, and also you've done so well standing in the rain to report and going there to actually see what it is. With the Western Regional Minister and all officials that joined. Akwesi, thank you so much for your time. The CEO of the Ghana Railway Development Authority made mention of the fact that the Galamseyers are targeting the standard railway line. So you would want to also report from that place too, that we see what is really happening at that side. But Chris, you see, some of these things we overlook that is like a cost to the state. This is like a financial burden on the state.
It is.
And if you are destroying the railway line, which is you say is the ancient or is the old one, and the new one is not fully completed,
and you're still attacking it.
And you're attacking it. For instance, you are staying in your house, and in this house you are staying in, you've not built a new one. You are not done building the new one, and you are demolishing the old one. Doesn't make sense.
Does not make sense. It just tells us the kind of canker that we are dealing with. This has gone beyond our imagination.
Yes.
Whether we like it or not, it all seemed like a joke in the beginning, but it has gone beyond our imagination. Every day we see how illegal mining affects us in one way. We see how it affects different industries. Last time we talked about how it's going to affect the tourism industry. I was shocked when the people from the tourism department actually came to speak to us about this whole issue, and it was shocking to know that if it goes south, it's actually going to affect the tourism industry. And tourism industry is one of the things that give the country money. You understand? It's one of the things that help the country economically because they contribute a lot, because people can't just stop having enough of Ghana. But when it goes south, people will definitely want to protect themselves. And that will mean they will not come to Ghana anymore. And today, this morning, we are seeing how illegal mining actually affects the, railway industry.
And even with the railway industry, we've been asking that this sector be revived. This sort of, we renovate this sector. See, we've had issues with the railway line at Kuntun, say that is a Masaman area, people stealing the rods and all those things when it comes to the steel and all the metals. That one, we are not even talking about it. Now we are seeing this, that from what Akwesi said, his analysis, is the haulage. That is what gives a lot more money to the railway sector than the passenger service, because when the railway sector or the Ghana Railway Development Authority started operation of the Tema in Pakadam railway line, per the calculation, you need only 40 Ghana cedis to travel from Tema to Akosombo or to Atimpoku, which in a way, even if you are going via road, is more than that. So he was saying that now you are subsidizing this when it comes to for customers or when it comes for passenger service. How are you going to raise enough money to get these railway lines in shape when they deteriorate? And these are the questions we are asking. Yesterday or 3 days ago, the Environmental Protection Agency actually was proposing something. They indicated that they need an amount of $200,000 to pilot this nano liquid solution to cleanse poisoned rivers. So if we need an amount of $200,000 million to sort of pilot the nano technology so that we are going to clean all the poisoned rivers, that one comes with another cost. And that is also with Galamsey.
It does.
Mind you, every sector in this country is being affected by Galamsey.
And then if we ever do that, if we ever pilot that nano, technology on the waters, that also means that it's going to translate to our bills. Our water bills will go up.
Yes.
Because you need to pay for it.
So you see, even Ghana Water Company right now is also complaining that they do not have the needed resources. Their plants are shutting down, getting destroyed as a result of illegal mining, as a result of Galamsey. We've been talking about Galamsey. We keep talking about it. Maybe from tomorrow, we may go to the eastern region, and you also know what really is happening in the eastern region when it comes to Galamsey. It's just sad that every person is involved in Galamsey one way or the other, trying to make money. But we are not thinking of the society where we belong to, in which we belong to. Right now, as the railway sector, when will we know? It may get to the road sector if it hasn't even gotten there already, because traveling from Accra to Kumasi, where you get to Osino, you get to Enyinem, you get to those areas, then you move to Konongo areas. People are doing the Galamsey. Now they are just close to the road. The next minute they may be eating beneath the road, and the road will end up collapsing. And we will sit here and we'll talk about it again. But the question is, if the authorities are doing something about these things, we should see the actions that are taken. Also, the residents or chiefs should also talk about it. I can go to these villages and talk about it, or to go and speak to people there. It's the people within these villages who can talk about it. Mind you, the area I stay in, there isn't any Galamsey happening there. But I'm also bearing the brunt of illegal mining, because if Ghana Water Limited is not able to treat the water well, I'm not able to get water in my house. Or even if I'm getting it, the price will now move up. We're here when PURC said that, well, we are making a proposal, we are coming out to 2.25% in electricity, and also coming out with some adjustment in water and all those things. We were making noise because they don't have money to run their services. They don't have money to check the turbidity level and also try and make their water clean and all that, so that they can pump it into various homes. It's a big problem that has to be dealt with. The president met CSOs. That was last week. And in the president's statement, or rather, when Franklin Kujo asked a question in Money Africa, he made mention of the fact that we need bigger budget to deal with illegal mining. And if we need bigger budget to deal with illegal mining, at the end of the day, these things get to affect the purse of the country. So if there is an amount of money that has to be used for road construction, or for the building of healthcare, for the building of school, for the building of an infrastructure that is going to help the country or the society, we now pump that same money into the fight against illegal mining. And these illegal miners, we know them, we see them, we know where they are coming from. You can't tell me that an illegal miner is in this country, you don't know where this illegal miner is operating from, or the excavator that has come into this country, and the excavator operating somewhere in Konongo, or operating in Lucino or GGT or whatever it is. You can't see it for yourself, and you can't stop this action, and you go there and you just arrest the people who the little ones, because the railway CEO said that when they are coming, they run away and they go and stay in the bush for a very long time, because they know that definitely you would move out of the place. See, we are just like ostriches. What we are doing is we've hidden our head and we think that we are hiding. No, we should fight it. The root cause, we should fight it, because see, it was in the previous administration, that is the New Patriotic Party, that it was saying that illegal mining was what was a canker, and we had to address it, and it's the big elephant in the room and all that. Now there were demonstrations that were held, and also officials of the now government when saying that the state should, the president then should declare state of emergency and whatever you have you. We saw videos of Honorable Sam George, who is the communications minister now, saying that state of emergency should be declared. Now the president has stated otherwise, that state of emergency cannot be declared because all measures must be used and must be exhausted. Now the question we are asking is, you don't want to declare a state of emergency, but we are seeing more destruction. And where are we going to get these things, and where is it going to lead us? We saw 9 months. 9 months has come. They are saying that we are going to go after the Galamseyers. But the more we say that we are going to go after the Galamseyers, the more these Galamseyers are also developing sophisticated ways to go and deal with this Galamsey issue. So at the end of the day, how are we solving this problem? We are destroying everything. Chris, you made mention of the tourism sector. It's destroying it. Now it's destroying road infrastructure. Even is destroying the railway infrastructure that we are talking about today. Healthcare, we can't buy contumely. We understand that it's even in the vegetables you are supposed to. So how can I even do a weight loss journey and even go and buy that vegetable and say that I want to eat it? Because I don't really know what is in there. It's a big problem that has to be dealt with.
It's destroying families because people will get to have babies that have defects, and then sometimes when the babies have defects, it's not everyone that can afford these surgeries for these babies, because the people that are even having the babies that, you know, have these defects, they're mostly they're mostly the poor people. That's the truth.
And you see,
we are not paying, and we are here not paying the surgery for them. They bear the brunt.
And you see children engaged in illegal mining, and they are swimming in the river, water body that is polluted and all that. See, we are playing with our lives. We are playing with the future of this country.
I think it's funny how they were able to see the elephant in the room that time and not realize that right now the elephant has actually metamorphosed into a whale. It's too big. It can't fit the room anymore. At least an elephant can fit the room, but the whale can't fit the room anymore. Do you understand?
It's serious. See, if the Ghana, the Environmental Protection Agency is talking seriously about this, and we've had Ken Ashigbe talking seriously about this, we've had other state organizations, state agencies talking about this, then it's something that has to be dealt with. They say that if it quacks like a duck, it walks like a duck,
then
whatever.
It's definitely
like
a duck.
Then it's a duck.
Quack, quack, quack.
Yes.
That's it.
If we are saying that it's destroying our water bodies, it's destroying our forest reserves, it's destroying railway lines, it's destroying roads, it's having a toll on our health, it's whatever, then it's Galamsey. It's destroying everything. Don't come and garnish it and say that it's a nice way of doing mining.
Illegal mining.
At the end of the day, it's the few that will make themselves rich.
Yeah.
And the general public will suffer. Because if people are supposed to use this railway line, we revamp it and it comes back into the system. Do you know how many jobs it will create? Do you know how many people would now get food in their homes? Do you know what money we are going to get as a country? Please, we should stop joking and get things done right.
And we forgot that, you know, like 2 weeks ago, when we opened the phone lines, we spoke to one of the people that have actually engaged in this activity. Remember, he said that sometimes these people know who is behind the
illegal mining.
The illegal mining.
Yes.
And they just come and speak to them and everything just goes. Even the uniformed men. Let's talk about the uniformed men. Sometimes you're supposed to do your job, but I don't know why these people can bribe you easily. You, a uniformed person.
Wow.
It's crazy that you are even supposed to uphold the law in your hands and make things right. But then again, somehow they get to you.
And you're compromised.
Somehow they bribe you. Somehow you get compromised and they just walk away.
And when we are going there to catch the people, you just make a phone call.
Just make a phone call and then that's it.
They are coming, then they run away.
That's
Let's
it.
go for a quick